Hey, this is Chris Gethard, and you're listening to Is That Your Kid? You better buckle up, man, because Todd and Jake, they're about to take you on a real ride.
Episode 2 of Late Night with Todd and Jake.
Late Night with Todd and Jake.
Episode 2,
Episode 2, starting it off again.
In retrospect, Happy Mother's Day Part 2. Mother's Day was last week.
We're time traveling in the future right now. Hope your Mother's Day was great.
Hope your Mother's Day was fantastic. But we are with I...
And Jake. Me.
The acronym.
I-T-Y-K. Question mark.
You messed that up twice.
I thought you were I-T-Y-K. Question mark.
There you go. Not bad. It only took a bit, you know.
We never practiced a question mark. I threw that in there. You just weren't ready.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
Get on my level. Check.
1, 2.
Check.
We've already done that. So this is That Your Kid podcast with Todd and Jake. Todd, the angel boy, the rake, wake and bake, tycoon of wrestling, Zerme.
You just called me Todd.
Did I? There's no way.
Yes.
Did I?
I think, and I hope you did, or else egg on my face, but I think you just called me Todd, Angel Boy, Wake and Bake.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that means it's Jake, the Bod, Tondera.
There we go.
Excuse me, Jake, Gregory, soon to be William, Tondera.
I'll play Jake this episode. Wait, what went on 5 minutes ago?
In the blue shorts with the gold trim, it's Jake the Bod Tondero.
I thought you were going to talk about
Crowd
me.
goes wild. That's my best announcer voice. In the blue shorts with the gold trim, baby.
It's a box. I thought you were going to say what I was wearing because I'm wearing blue shorts.
Everything I know about announcing is from boxers.
Yeah.
From boxing announcers.
From people who wear boxers. But we are nerds from Western Pennsylvania. We host a variety show dealing with one another's personality flaws. You could check us out on iTunes. Subscribe. Is That Your Kid? isthatyourkid.tumblr.com from all the backstage photos, videos, and weird reblogs. Twitter.com/isthatyourkid. And we also have a YouTube account hosted by bassist and vocalist of the Pittsburgh band Atlas and the Velcro Shoes, Sleazy E. And that's what we didn't say on last week's episode. Sleazy E from Atlas. The last time we saw Atlas,
we just saw them play a show tonight, which is last week.
We didn't see tonight or last week. It was more than a week.
We saw
at
them
this
last
point.
night, which is tonight's episode, which is part 1 and part which is 11 and 12.
Go ahead
which
again.
Which is 11 and 12. We saw it
and Sleazy E gave us a little shout out on stage.
That was sweet.
So
I'm sure there were 5 people, 3 people that knew. You, me, and one other person knew.
Right, so that's fantastic. But this episode, as you could already tell, is sponsored by Keystone Beer, the onion water beer you drink if you're a college kid, and also whiskey.
Hey, this week,
yeah,
a little boy gave me a picture of a bee.
No.
And not a bee like a bug, like a bee of a letter B. He's 4, maybe 5.
And he drew you a picture of a bee.
Yeah. Last year, this kid, he's in the preschool program. He's the second year. So he was 3 last year. Now he's 4 or 5.
It's a good year.
Last year when I met him, I was going through the names like, oh, okay, you're so and so, and we'll call him Henry. But he gave me...
That's his middle name.
He told me... That's my middle name, but this is this kid's fake name that I made up for him.
Okay.
He told me to call him Baby Bird. 4-year-old told me to call him. Told me. I read his name and I was like, okay, Henry, nice to meet you. You know, nice to meet you, bud. And he's like, call me Baby Bird.
He wants you to call him that?
Last year he wanted me to call him Baby Bird.
Did you call him Baby Bird?
I tried it out.
You put the training wheels on the Baby Bird name.
I tried it out, but I quit it. I quit it after a bit. It was too.
Oh.
I mean, he's little. He's like a little dude. He's like pretty small.
He's not gonna like it when he's an adult. No,
What?
like looking back, like I told my
music teacher to call me Baby Bird.
Yeah, he's gonna have a podcast. By the way, podcast.
He wasn't doing it to be like, no. He just like literally actually wanted me to call him.
Well, I'm
Baby
saying
Bird.
in 20 years he's gonna host his own podcast and he's gonna be like, guys.
He's gonna host his own holocast, and it's gonna be real sick.
Oh boy.
His weird admission is gonna be when I was 4. You know, I had the Jewish preschool story. He's gonna have a Baby Bird story.
He's gonna have.
But that's Henry Baby Bird.
Oh.
No Brody updates in a while. Those of you,
He's
I
toothless,
had a
Brody.
lot of people tell me Brody was a good.
What
great
episode
bit.
was that?
Early.
3 or 4? No, it couldn't be 4. Or was it 4? I don't know.
There was 2. There was one Brody, and then there was the other one with the tooth thing.
I'm gonna say 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many.
Brody, since in my classes, has played the cymbals and
Nice.
and the xylophone.
Uh-huh.
And he went ham on it, and he stayed in time, but he did like some crazy syncopation.
Yeah.
It was great.
Brody, that was either episode 3 or 4. Jake told a story of Brody losing his first tooth, which Jake was a part of because he is
He ripped it out right in front of me.
in the teaching business, and he's a music teacher and musical composer / musician. So, did you trail off?
Am I trailing off right now?
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
You look like you're trailing off.
I thought I had a video maybe of like an anonymous video just to have him playing an instrument, which would be sick. Yeah.
We left it on a cliffhanger last week, as I said that I will tell a story of how my father and I and my father's friend attempted to break into a hotel pool.
That's a cliffhanger?
Yeah, that's what I said last week. At the end of the man, you don't listen to what I say most times.
No, I heard you. I didn't know it was a cliffhanger though.
Well, it's not a cliffhanger, but I mentioned it as a
Spicing it
cliffhanger.
up.
Yeah, so like the 2 people, the 1.5 people were like, that's a cliffhanger. 1.5 people said it was. But we were telling a little bit of some stories last week, so I will finish off with this story. I will finish off to start off with this story. And no, this was like it was about 10 or 11, and don't fall asleep against that wall.
And you didn't know, right? You didn't know that you were breaking in.
Yeah, but my dad.
To a pool?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll start the story off, but we went to my dad used to have a bunch of buddies, and they used to go to this cabin in the woods up in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, and they used to get like real rip-roaring drunk and stand around a fire like white people do. Like, look at this is a fire I made personally, huh? How about that? So, but it kind of branched off, and my dad had invited this fella. His name was Mongo, and he was a bike. He was a person who drove a motorcycle, so he was a biker, and he did the whole biker bit. Like, close your eyes and think of a biker,
Like
with long
leather
hair.
jacket and.
Yep, bit on his head, like that do-rag that's leather, leather everything, skinny guy. But we went to a pool up in no. Sorry about the Keystone beer, but we're gonna back up still. We were hanging out, and they were bored, and they were drunk, so they decided.
Is That Your Kid, episode 12. Todd is telling us a story about how he broke into a hotel pool.
Like they were drunk, and so of course they were just like, let's start driving. And so like I was like, yeah, so I was in the back seat. He drove a black Blazer at the time, and we were driving around Ligonier. My dad was driving, Mongo was the passenger, and I was in the back. And they were just like driving over, like, you know, those divots in the middle of the road that you drive over, and like it makes like a brrrr. I could roll my R's. And they were doing that. Did you say ladies?
Ladies.
Ladies, I could roll my R's. So he drove over the divots in the middle of the road, and also, yeah, there's a car outside.
There's a motorcycle outside.
No, that's just like a teenage kid with a muffler, probably a fucking white car with a muffler, and he's probably wearing a St. Louis Cardinals fitted starter cap. Anyway, so they ran over the divots in the middle of the road. They also drove around drunk, and I was in the backseat by the time. This time. They were like hitting into a lot of cones, a lot of dividers, just smashing into everything and laughing about it. And so, and I was in the backseat, like just in there. And so we got this idea of like we wanted to go swim, and the only place in town was this hotel. And so like, let's drive to the hotel, and of course they were drunk. And so we drove to the hotel, and we get to the hotel, and my dad has this bright idea to break into the pool. But then we find out the pool is actually outside. It's outside. So it's an outdoor pool, but we realize it's actually behind a wall. So Mongo pushes a dumpster in front of this wall. My dad gets on the dumpster. I get up on the dumpster. Meanwhile, we're laughing. All three of us are belly laughing like, I can't believe this is going to happen. I can't believe this is going to happen. And so we're like, we're not at this hotel. We don't have a key to this hotel. We don't belong at this hotel. And so he gets this idea. He says, I'm going to boost you up and you just fall over the top of the wall and then go swim. And so we're on, I think it became very real to us at that point that it was like midnight. We were in the back alley of an old hotel. My dad and I were on a dumpster, and we just looked at each other and we just started laughing because we're like, this is really what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, like, I was just like,
no, refresh it for me. How old were you at the time? 10.
10 or 11.
Okay,
I don't
go ahead.
remember what.
You're on the dumpster. He's boosting you over.
Yeah, he's gonna boost me over on this dumpster, and we were belly laughing so hard. And during this point, I was just like, why don't we just like ask to swim? Like, this is so pathetic. Let's just ask to swim. And he's like, it's midnight. They're never gonna, they're never gonna ask. So we're just belly laughing. So he's like how a male cheerleader, how a cheerleader boosts up another cheerleader, like by you step in the palms,
right?
And they kind of boost you up. And so we're like, we're really gonna do this. So he starts. He boosts, and he's a strong dude for whatever reason. My dad's always been really strong, and he boosts me up. Not that I'm a big dude, but I'm just saying that he's like this with my legs, and so he lifts me up like what's this motion called that you lift people up like
He's
this?
just lifting you up.
Yeah, he's lifting me up above his head. My right foot in his right palm, my left foot in his left palm, and we're both really laughing. And I just start peeing.
What the fuck? No chance did I ever see that story going that way. Does anyone else agree with me? Tell me, raise your hand in your car, in the laundromat, wherever you are right now, but did you ever in your life see that Todd was going to pee in that story over his father's head?
I'm not even done.
Oh
so he boosts me up to go, and Jake fell off his chair. He boosts me up over his head, and I'm just Jake is actually shaving his face now. I don't know if you hear the buzz, but my father lifts me up over his head to throw me over a hotel pool wall, and I'm belly laughing, and I just start pissing, and I start peeing all over his hands, and I don't know why it didn't get really weird at that point, but at that point he was so drunk that he was just laughing. I was laughing because it was happening, and it just kept going down his arms. Did you hear that knock on the door?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. But anyway, I don't know why I knock. If you listen to episode 8, you know my house is haunted, but there was a knock on the door, no one. But anyway, the pee just started rolling down his arms, and then he boosted me over. So obviously I was covered in pee. So I just jumped in the pool with my shirt on. And as my shirt was, as I was swimming in the pool, laughing, we did it, the hotel, I don't know, but somebody from the hotel, I think it was the manager, came out. And he saw me swimming in the pool, and, I just went...
With all of your clothes on.
With all my clothes on. And again, my dad and his friend Mongo aren't in the pool. like they're outside the pool, and like
Mongo.
and so
everybody.
they're still like cackling out there.
Mongo.
They're cackling out there, and I'm in the pool, and I'm just like, and the guy like I just was quick, like I was quick to answer. He was just like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh,
Swimming.
I'm swimming." And he said, "Well, do you know the pool's closed?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Well," he's like, "How did you get to the pool?" And I was just like, "Well, you know, how do you get to the pool?" And I can't remember. It's foggy, but I either said like I left my shoes at the pool or my dad left his shoes at the pool. I can't remember. And I said I just came to get them, and I just happened to jump in. And he was like, "Oh, no big deal. No big deal. You could have just said you wanted to swim." Like you could have, like he was telling me like in a way like you could have came to the front desk and say I just wanted to swim. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And
You got out and left.
and that was it. And then I can't remember. I don't know if my dad and Mongo came around and they came by the pool. I can't remember how it ended, but I don't know. The idea of the story is my dad was lifting me over his head, and I just started
peed all
peeing.
over him.
I peed all over.
And not because you are weird, but it's not because you're weird. It's because you were laughing and you lost it.
And he no-sold the pee job.
For those of you that don't know Todd too well, that means he didn't react to the pee all over his arm.
When
in
you
any
no-sell something, that means you don't react to something that you may need to. No-selling it, meaning you don't care about it or act like you don't care about it. So that was the cliffhanger that I did with episode 1.
Oh, that's a crazy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that story I told you from 10.1, which is the first time we tried to record
11.1,
which is the first time we tried to record episode 10.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the only, physical body fluid or otherwise related story I have.
That's not bad though. I mean, that was a pretty good one.
Well, you told a pee story. I've never actually. I don't think I've ever peed. No.
You've never used the bathroom?
Accidentally.
Oh, accident. Oh, bro, that was a whole thing.
Nah, that's never happened to me. But I was young, and I think I was well under 10 years old, but I was running around with my cousins at the time. My dad was cutting the grass, and I was we were running around the house, probably playing tag, outside. We were probably playing tag outside, or who knows? We were running, but I know I was being chased, and I wasn't sure where all the people that were chasing me were, because they could have been at any one point of the yard, front or backyard, and I remember almost running into the lawnmower while my dad was cutting the grass. I turned a corner and he was around the corner, and I didn't realize, I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't hear the mower actually going, and I almost ran into it, and that's a big deal. I mean, it's a blade that's going.
Well, I mean, the blade's under it though.
Right, but you could easily step into that. Well, anyway, it's loud and
your toes will get pretty much
right. It's loud and
gunzoed.
scary.
Yeah.
Loud and scary. And I rounded the corner, and was scared, and I actually pooped a little bit. What was it?
Just the liquid?
Liquid?
Just the liquid, or mass?
Well, I was little. I was tiny, but I was.
The
pretty
question stands.
No, it was not liquid.
Okay.
And the reason I know it, because like a baller, I was like, whoa, I was scared by that, and I went to the bathroom, got rid of it, and it was done. And that's my embarrassing poop story.
You got rid of it, huh?
I did
clumped it out.
I did what needed to be done. Yeah, got
Ice
rid of the
cream
evidence.
Scooped it out. We're gonna start from now forward.
No ice cream scoop.
If we have a scoop, I'm going to say get your ice cream ready, because I have a scoop.
You're putting me on my heels right now. I don't
get it.
I don't.
Because when you have a latest scoop, I got the scoop. I got get your ice cream ready, because I've got an ice cream ... scoop. Nothing.
Yeah. If you taste ice cream, you're supposed to use a golden spoon. Doesn't taste like anything. Gold doesn't taste like anything to us. So if you use an ice cream scoop, you're not tainted by the stained, the silver
stainless steel
taste. You get
Gold doesn't
you get
taste
that
like anything.
spoon metal taste in your mouth.
So I could
So if
eat,
you're tasting ice cream as a
I could
professional
eat a gold
taste tester,
necklace. I could eat a gold necklace.
shut up. You know that's not what I mean. But if you eat something off a stainless steel spoon per se, you get that aftertaste.
Okay.
And if you're a taste tester, that's not ideal.
Okay.
So they use gold if you're tasting ice cream. I've
Interesting.
heard.
I've never known that. I've never known any of that.
How do you feel about gyros?
We ate gyros last week.
I didn't.
Oh,
You
you
thinking
weren't
about
with us
something
last
else.
week. I was down on the south side like 3:30 eating a gyro.
Sick.
Yeah, it was
How do you
sick.
like gyros? It's pretty good.
Dude, I like them pretty dry. I like just like
you don't get
chicken
the
and-
sauce?
No, because it'll get all over my hands.
Stop. I'm moving on. Next subject. How do you feel? You're just disappointment.
Okay.
In caps, you're just crazy.
That's all right. You're not the first person who said that. So
And it won't be the last if you continue doing that.
I don't want
No
anything on my
sauce
hands.
on your gyro.
I no sell the sauce.
That's. It's not a gyro if you don't get that weird white sauce.
Oh. All right, go on. You seem
It's
to
like
have
sour
other stuff.
cream and like something else and cucumbers.
I don't eat sour cream.
Bro, it's the best part.
Sour cream is not. I don't.
I
eat
hate sour cream, but the sour cream you can get on a gyro is good.
So. What do you want to do for this episode, part 2?
What do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
I think
If you, that's fine. If you got nothing, because we could shoot from the hip over here.
shoot from the hip,
No.
spray and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talked about comics earlier tonight.
We did.
How do you feel about that? I don't think that's one part of iTYK that we have not touched.
Yeah. Well,
Comic books.
I read
A lot of comic books.
a lot of comic books.
Me, don't read a lot of comic books, but I do read
Mhm.
ones religiously every month.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I read a lot.
And that's why one of the reasons why episode 1 was so bad, because I've never even mentioned I did that.
Yeah.
All I did
It's
was
a big part of you. And I didn't mention I like biking and frisbee.
like when somebody says like, "What activities do you do?" Like that is such an activity to
I
name.
left it out. I didn't say that I liked frisbee or riding my bike.
You could eat some of that chocolate, by the way, over there. Who did I see destroy a chocolate bunny?
That was me.
Oh, fuck.
You were like, oh, you
Ah.
watched it. You're like a murderer.
Oh yeah, that
I'm
was.
like, what?
Didn't we record that even?
No, you recorded talking about it.
Okay.
But I bashed it up so I didn't have to bash it during the pod, so I could eat it.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to say, cause like to put an explicit tag on a podcast, you have to say like the F word twice, and I think I just said it.
Just once.
Yeah. So if I go without saying the F word, it'll be the first. Like because
One F.
I've had to tag the
Could we
last
make it,
few.
Let's make it just a 1F,
Yeah.
just to push the limit.
Yeah. Because like we were like touch and go whether it was explicit or whether it was not for a while, and you have to tag it explicit. But like the last 3 or 4 have been all tag explicit. So let's say that
Henry Baby Bird says it's the last one was explicit, but let's go straight on this one.
Mm-hmm. So we were talking about like a lot of different stories, you know. Do you have any other stories that you want to bring to light? Maybe stories that people don't know about you. Maybe stories that I don't know.
I mooned a bunch of people in college.
Okay.
And it was legendary to a select few of like 13 to 15 people.
Well, what was that about?
Well, in the college that I went to, it's a pretty small campus, and you could crawl out one window, which was actually a practice room for musician majors, and you could crawl out the window and like be on the roof. You could be on the roof of the school, and it just so happened that the view from that roof vantage point, you could see the men's bathroom on that same floor, but from a while away.
Okay.
And a bunch of my music major friends were out on the roof, and they texted me, and they were like, I forget what they said, but they were like, quit peeing or whatever, because it was midnight.
Wait.
Well, I feel that I'll Tarantino this story. Stay with me, Todd. I'm gonna Tarantino this story. I was peeing at the time. I worked as a check-in assistant, so that means I check people into the dorm rooms. So if you came into a dorm that's not yours, or you were a stranger to campus, you had to sign in with me before you go into the rooms. So I took a 5-minute break and I needed to use the restroom, so I was down in the restroom, and some of my friends that were out on the roof saw me.
Mm-hmm.
And they said something cryptic. But it alluded to, hey, you're in the bathroom peeing. And I'm like, what? And it freaked me out. And the bathroom is pretty big. It's a pretty old school. That part of the school is pretty old. And I looked around and it freaked me out. I'm like, I have no idea. Did someone, this person, are they in the bathroom with me? Can they see me right now? And I looked out the window and I see the fan legion of people. And I just mooned them.
How many?
There were at least 10 people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was great. I was more annoyed. And I didn't do it out of anger. I did it like, oh, you saw me peeing, so here's my little butt.
Mm-hmm. I've seen your bear rear end before.
What? What? What?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
So small. Tiny butt.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see a lot of dudes' butts, but
What? That makes me
remember-
feel a little better.
You're gonna remember
you
it.
shouldn't.
I mean, I may have seen it other times, but I've taken a picture of it before. Do you know when?
No.
No, think about it. Think about
Hold on.
it. It's a while. It's a while ago. You know, at the time I was taking a picture of it. And it's something.
No.
It's probably on my phone. Denny's. Remember that one time you were peeing in the urinal and I took a picture of your butt? You pulled your whole bit down. And so I say to you, with a little 10.2, episode 10.2 callback, shukran for that photo. Shukran. Shukran to that.
To me.
Which again means thank you.
And that's actually a throwback. The only reason I could think as to why I would be pulling all of my pants down to just pee in a urinal would be a throwback to kids that I knew from preschool.
They used to pull.
That instead of using the urinal, instead of just like pulling down the front part of their pants, they'd go all the way down just to use the urinal. And I'm like, so maybe.
Yeah, that could have been a callback. You could have been drunk too. I don't know.
I don't think I would have been drunk at Denny's.
That might have been the night that
Mike threw up in the parking lot.
Mike the Destroyer threw up in the parking lot, and then but yeah, right. I'm not gonna explain that further. But we had to bail on Denny's, and then we went and ate at McDonald's, and then remember Mike the Destroyer.
None of us were intoxicated. None of us.
No.
And I'm not even like being sarcastic.
No.
None of us. It was a completely unrelated reason.
Unrelated, and remember he threw up in the back seat.
Yeah, and we had to call Ryan's dad.
We had to call our friend Ryan's dad.
Coolest he's ever been about something that we messed up on.
I mean, he could have beat Ryan later about it. We'll never know. I doubt they. It doesn't seem like a beating family.
No.
It just seems
just like, hey, I'm disappointed in you.
It's just like, oh,
family.
You did something good, I'll give you $2. You did something bad, I'll still give you $1. It seems like that's kind of the whole thing there. But something that we kind of did with Ryan for a while there that he kind of like admittedly dropped the ball on. Remember the Fairy Tale Forest or whatever that was called? Where we would say a word and then the next person would say a word and we'd make a story out of it?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's try that out. I mean, I think I don't have anything on this side really all that.
Bumbleberry Buckleberry Bumberland.
Yeah, and so I think what we're gonna try to
we made it like Facebook thread, and basically I would tell a little part of the story, like one sentence, and then Ryan would go, and then you would finish the sentence.
So the idea of this is you build a story by saying, let's try a word.
Once upon a time, in the Misty Mountains, there was
a man who liked to fish, but there was no water to fish. Sorry. That wasn't that wasn't, I didn't build.
Oh my goodness.
That doesn't.
So, the man traveled from the one misty mountain down to the ravine where fish typically congregate.
But he remembered that he left his fishing pole at his cabin from the misty part of the mountain.
After spending an exorbitant amount of time traveling from one misty mountain to another, he goes down to the ravine. But alas, a strange
fish was in the water. Go.
Oh my. The fish crawled and gurgled his way up onto land, as if a man army crawling gurgled his way up onto land, flopping in front of the lowly fisherman. He exclaimed in a gurgly, fishy tone,
I am not a fish, as what you once thought. I am actually a salamander.
You see, my tail has been lost in the water, and I am on a quest to find my tail. Will you help me find my tail? Said the fish. Salamander.
The man was totally tripped out because around his part of the mountain, he had never seen nor heard a human nor amphibian speak. So he said to the salamander, Are you truly speaking to me?
There is no one else around, the fish said. Who else would I be speaking to? You must help me find my tail.
Are you a fish or a salamander?
I am a salamander. Will you help me with my tail, crust, or not?
I came down to this ravine to fish, but now my fish / salamander friend, what has happened to your tail?
He's gone, and I do not know where it is. However, you cannot fish. There are no fish in here, only salamander with tails.
I love that. I love, the fisherman said, how your voice goes in and out of salamander speech as you speak. That tail you so much want back. How, if we find it, can we attach it to your body again?
I don't attach it to my body, said the salamander. In fact, I just want to eat it. My tail grows back naturally.
So, the fisherman said, do you listen to Is That Your Kid podcast? I do. I subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on iTunes, Salamander. Is That Your Kid? I also follow them on Tumblr. isthatyourkid.tumblr.com. I also have a Twitter account. Do you know social media? I do. Isthatyourkid.twitter / isthatyourkid. Anyway, I will help you find your tail so you could eat it, because I understand at this point you only eat your tail. Where did you lose your tail, Salamander?
Well, it was...
Knock the mic over. Keep going.
Do you need help with your mic?
Is
said
it
the
fine?
salamander.
No.
No. Said the fisherman.
Said the fisherman.
It was taken by trolls.
Okay.
For trolls love gold and also salamander tails. And also long stories.
Okay, well, said the fisherman, I don't have time to understand why trolls love gold or salamander, so I will pick up this rock and smash it against your skull, because I feel like this is a plot point that you're going to mess up on. So the fisherman smashes the salamander head and said, I've really had a terrible day based on the fact that I came down here looking to fish. And he started walking up the fogged ass mountain.
Fiend. Alright.
So that was different. That was a different feel. That was pretty good though, right?
I've never done anything like that in my life.
Mm-hmm. I hope that salamander voice picks up good in the mic.
I don't know where that came from. That came from deep in my soul.
I feel like
that was in my spirit, my soul.
Mm-hmm. And so at this point in the night, it is 1:32 a.m. We've had a lot of Keystone beer and also some whiskey, and something we haven't done in a lot of weeks that was kind of like an earlier bit of the show is haunted towns. So as I'm talking, if you want to Google search Golden, Colorado, put Golden, Colorado in that search bar. So the reason why I mention, for those of you just listening to the podcast, we often, sometimes people email in, sometimes we just think of it ourselves, but we think of towns and how haunted they would be. Now Lulu, our West Coast time-traveling reporter, loves this part of our show. So we talk about towns and how haunted out of 5 ghosts they could be. So seeing as though we're drinking every college around the nation's favorite beer, Keystone Beer. Keystone Beer is made in Golden, Colorado. So we're gonna take.
I found it,
and
I'll tell you off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I think this place is pretty haunted.
You think it's
and there's
haunted?
a lot of reasons that Golden, Colorado is haunted already.
Okay. Well, so we're taking a look at Golden, Colorado, and we will rate it out of 5 ghosts how haunted it is. So,
my first reason
Uh-huh.
for saying the Golden City, Colorado, is haunted. Number 1, it's a mining town, which means there's more than 3 people that got stuck underground and died.
A day.
Not a day. Not a day. Just ever. Number 2, established as a gold rush town. That means that more than 3 people were killed over gold.
Woo!
A day.
And gold, as you know,
Is valuable.
is valuable, and also if you eat off of it, you can't taste it. That's something, like you said, right?
Yeah, brother. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
So if you eat off gold, you can't taste gold. So
You'll just taste the food.
Mm-hmm. So, the mining town of Golden, Colorado. What was the other mining town we took a look at?
There's no mining town.
No, we did. There was a
That's Centralia.
Centralia, Pennsylvania.
It's a coal
Dave
mine.
Dave One, who emails in occasionally, told us to take a look at that. And again, you can email us isthatyourkid@yahoo.com. So if you've been listening and haven't been emailing, maybe now is your time. But some haunted places in Golden, Colorado. As I'm going down this Wikipedia page, I'm not seeing much that's haunted. But they do have people of historical interest. They have a whole slew. And the co-founder of Adolf Coors Company, who else lived there? Authors, baseball pitchers, movie actors, more baseball pitchers. Shane Carwin, heavyweight contender in the UFC. And
Whoa.
Of course,
After World War II, Golden bloomed and boomed, rapidly gaining population, size, and economy. 1959, the town nearly tripled in geographic size. So not population, but geographic size. Overnight, when it annexed large properties to the south, including the new Magic Mountain theme park.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, Magic Mountain. Could be an occult theme park.
Could be.
Probably isn't, but it could have been.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, with a mining town there, they've also made college beer. But,
Coors Brewery.
There is more flies in here, bro. Just
Cool.
to let you know, one flew past me. But Golden lies north of I-70 and west of Denver in the foot of the Rocky Mountains. And here's what I know about mountains, bro. People die on mountains because they start climbing them and then forget how to climb.
Or get stranded or avalanched or anything.
Anything.
Well,
the bottom line, they can't remember how to climb.
Let's go. Oh, I found demographics.
Okay, what are the demographics?
As a census of 2010.
Okay.
90.6% white. 1.2% black or African American.
96% white, that's lame.
I know. That seems like a
It's
really
like,
boring
ugh,
town
it
already.
seems so boring.
Very boring town already.
Mm-hmm.
0.6 Native American, 3.9 Asian, 0.1 Pacific Islander, and 1.4 for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Very boring. Very mayonnaise town. That seems like
Mayonnaise.
everyone might
Very
love
vanilla.
mayonnaise.
Very vanilla.
Very mayonnaise there.
And I'm looking at all their buildings. They're tan, which I feel like is a color you like. Tan. Like you're like a brown tan kind
I'm a
of
very
guy.
earthen tone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say tan. I would say earth tones.
Okay.
So like grays and yeah.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome to Golden. They make Keystone beer, all kinds of
They
beer.
have a lot of flowers, seems like.
It does. I mean, are flowers haunted, though, is the question. I don't think flowers are haunted. So we may have hit a dead end here.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I've prepared my statement.
You've prepared your statement?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you prepared your statement, how
I'd say
haunted?
Golden, Colorado gets 2 out of 5 ghosts for me.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say, based on ghosts, I'm gonna go ahead and say, just for the sake of entertainment, I'm gonna say 1, but secretly I think 0. But for the sake of entertainment and also story building purposes, I'm gonna say 1 out of 5 ghosts.
I think 2. I think it could be. There could be sections where it's more, but there's nothing really substantial that's really going on there.
Not as much, but they just make beer. But if you do have a ghost story, is that your kid at yahoo.com? And also, if you want to recommend a town that we take a look at, it may or may not be haunted, send your town ideas to that same email address. Again, you could hit us up at is that your kid on Twitter. A shout out from a couple weeks ago that I want to correct, and in my defense, it was spelled like that at this time. But Lex, who I mentioned that listened to the podcast on the road trip, his handle was at Lex Loves Whiskey without the E. Well, now he has put the E in since then.
Yo, you think he just didn't realize he spelled it wrong?
No, I messaged him.
Incorrectly?
I messaged him and I was just like, bro, did I just not see that E? He said, no, I just put that in. So I shout out back to Lex at Lex Loves Whiskey.
Lex Loves Whiskey.
On Twitter. And I also want to give a shout out to Steve from Pittsburgh, who has been listening to the podcast. He's a little behind, but he let me know. Steve from Pittsburgh. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any Arizona tea left?
Yep. You knock it back?
Knock that back. I have a couple more things, but they're just like more weird stories, really.
Me?
Do we want to save them?
You know what? I don't know. I feel like, you know what? The highlight was just that fish story that was really just awful.
Well, maybe we could just leave it. Yeah, maybe we could just leave it at that then. I mean, that's fine.
Let that be our mantra. Let that be a soaring eagle that flies over other podcasts. Just like a challenge to other people. Hey, make up your own bad stories.
Make up your own bad stories.
You could do it. You could do it.
And I'm gonna... Oh, that one felt sharp. Oh, quick. This is a quick short story. Some years ago, outside, north of Pittsburgh, there's this town called Cranberry, Pennsylvania. And I used to have a lot of friends from Cranberry, Pennsylvania. And this might make some of you cringe that are weird about blood. But I was drinking a soda in a pool. And I was drinking it. It was late at night. And I was drinking a soda in the pool. And there was like a bunch of people hanging out. And, you know what's so bad about this? And this is really the truth. I used to be friends with somebody in Cranberry that we were like real chill for like 3 or 4 months. It was this girl I used to know. I swear I don't remember her name at this point. I really don't. And
that's interesting.
That is interesting. But we were hanging out. I think it was her pool, but I remember a lot of people being there. And I was drinking this soda. And we were just like giggling and laughing, and I finished the soda and I threw the can in the woods, but I threw it like I threw it real hard, and I cut my thumb open on the brim, like this part, like because I threw it like this, and it was bleeding everywhere, and I didn't notice it hurt. I knew that it hurt, and I was like, ow, my thumb, but I didn't think it was that much blood, and like. I jumped on somebody's back, like to piggyback ride them in the pool just to be a goofball. And then like in the light that was reflecting from the house, I saw that my finger was like bleeding super bad all over their back. And I was just like, I don't remember if I said something or I didn't say something because it was in the pool. So I was just like, it's going to come off. But you know what? I don't remember what. I'm going to assume it was my right thumb only because that's what I throw with. But I had a scar on my thumb for a bit. But I don't see it anymore. But that's a true story. That's so wild. I don't remember her name. She was blonde. She had blue eyes. Kind of long hair.
Mariella.
No. It's going to be crazy if she, like, finds this podcast 5 years in the future and was like, that guy was a jerk. So I'm probably painting myself.
That guy was such a jerk, he bled all over my friends.
Yeah. I mean, we were just...
And he littered in my backyard.
Like, we were just friends, but...
Yeah.
I seriously... I mean, I'm not the soberest I've ever been right now, but I don't remember her name. But we were, like, friends for, like, a half a year. Oh, I just spilled my beer on my pants.
Well, everyone, Todd will come over to your house one day, hopefully bleed on your friends, and not remember your name. So that's a little bit about Todd.
I'm not.
He's not a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. No one would ever say that Todd's a bad guy, but you might say that you might say that he might bleed on you and not remember your name.
But I mean,
so Todd, as is tradition, you got anything else? We'll send it back over to you.
I don't think. I mean, there is some stuff, but I think these two podcasts are just been a representation of our friendship, just talking back and forth. You know what I mean?
It seemed like a normal, Saturday.
It seemed like, is it Saturday or Friday?
It's Sunday now. It's Sunday now, but it's Saturday night.
Oh, okay. But it just seems like honestly, I feel like this is just like a regular conversation we have.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not so back and forth about it because we're not recording, but I'm saying topic-wise, these are not untraditional topics.
It's not like we've held anything back.
No.
Or done more. It's just, yeah.
And it's cool that we have the opportunity to do this, and I want to let you know, like, I love you as a friend, bro. Like,
all right, man. I love you too, man. As a friend, I love you a lot.
For me, and like, we go back. We kind of go back.
French fry costumes.
If you listen to episode 1, don't start at episode 2. Just a friendly reminder. Don't listen to the pilot episode. But Jake first met me when I was wearing a McDonald's fry costume back in high school. I was not good at high school, and so that's I just kind of did that. But I just I love you as a friend. And I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do this. And I hope that one day, looking back, if no one cares about this, I hope that, like, in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, we could listen to this.
Go back and listen to them?
We could go back and listen to it.
That's always a great fallback option. And that's part of the reason that's great.
I mean, that's fine.
Dude, if the internet's still a thing, it's going to
be a thing.
If it's still a thing and we're still, like, hosted out there in the interwebs, we could go back and
I see what you're saying.
Have a good laugh. Have a good laugh about it. Like, remember when we did that 5 years ago?
Now, iTunes, and you could subscribe, Is That Your Kid on iTunes. It's going to outlive Podomatic. And the problem behind that is just, like, if Podomatic goes down
then where is it hosted from?
Then where is it hosted from? isthatyourkids.podomatic.com.
Luckily, I do have them all on my laptop.
I mean, I do too. All the actual files. And actually, at some point, we're going to and this is kind of a spoiler alert, we're going to do
Big reveal.
We're going to do a season 1 and then do a best of season 1 episodes where we combine clips of season 1, all the parts people like or that we like personally, and we're going to combine them, and then we're actually going to do volume 2, episode 1. So it's like very comic book fashion, but it also, because if people are like intimidated by, if there's a podcast out there and you're just like, oh, 58, number 58, like number 68, 168, you're just like, where do I start? So eventually we're going to cut it off, and we're just going to make a volume 2, Is That Your Kid, so they could start at that. So, but again, if you do like what you hear, share with your friends, share with your enemies, because maybe those enemies were once friends before, and maybe this podcast will make them friends again. Weird to say that, but you never know where you are in 10 years.
You never know.
10 years ago, I was 16, Did I know that I would be here at 26? No. Not at all.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't have any more material for this evening, and I think I'm just going on at this point, but I just want to cheer this to you, bro.
Which is fine. Cheers to you.
I love you very much, and I'm glad that when I pitched this idea of this podcast to you, you wanted to do it. So I hope that the people on your end like that you do this.
Who else?
I don't know, man.
Well, I like that I do this, so that's all that matters. So
great, man. So
cheers to you, man.
I still want to watch Insidious 2 tonight. I will say that.
Let's still watch it.
Okay, we could watch Insidious 2.
Happy Mother's Day, Todd.
Bro, that was last week. I mean, no, it wasn't last week, but it was last week. It was last week, technically speaking.
All this stuff puts a burden on my heart. I'm trying to think a weekend ahead.
I could think a week ahead.
I'm still considering this week.
Well, you could consider
It's
it
just
this week.
part 2 of this week.
But what would be something that happened next week? This week?
You know what? They find Flight 392.
You know what? I was just thinking
no
of
way!
that. Hey guys, so they found Flight Malaysian Flight 370. How do you guys feel about that? And that is a shame that happened for real, but they did find it this week. Oh my god, this week. It was totally this week.
Wow. That's nuts that they found that on May 17th.
But May 17th.
This is today. We're recording on another Saturday.
Dude, if we future predict they find the Malaysian Flight 370 on May 17th. We have that on record, and we could get on CNN.
And for all that it's worth, I hope they do, but it won't matter.
It won't matter. It'll be
they're
just
already.
Yeah, at the cutoff sign point. But again, subscribe on iTunes. Is That Your Kid? Is That Your Kid.podomatic.com? PODOMATIC is Podomatic. Is That Your Kid.tumblr.com to see some behind the scenes videos, pictures, stupid stuff we post throughout the week. And also at Is That Your Kid on Twitter. YouTube.com / Is That Your Kid. Sleazy is all up on that. And we
looks great. Looks so good.
It does. It does. And we want to wish everybody a fantastic week at your job, at your school, at unemployment. Anything you do, anything you are, we are supportive of that. Is that a liberal thing to say? Yes.
I don't care. I like that. That's a very positive thing for you to say.
Right. So, to you and yours, have a great week. And we're going to watch Insidious 2, I feel. Still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jake, you send off episode 12.
Happy past Mother's Day. Todd, I love you. Good luck to everyone in whatever you do. Whether you're finger painting, or acting, or just driving around. Great.
The 3 stages of life.
Great luck. Don't wreck. Paint on.
Can't be a thing. Bumper sticker.
Dude, that's a bumper sticker. That's gotta be the best thing.
What did you just say?
I don't know. Good luck. Paint on.
Are you a fish or a salamander?
I am a salamander. Will you help me with my tail crust or not?